President Biden introduces plan to expel Uganda, Niger, Gabon, and Central African Republic from Agoa, or the African Growth Opportunity Act. According to President Biden, the reason for expulsion is a gross violation. Hello, I am Mahlet Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent. So this plan is introduced by the President Biden of the United States to evict these countries from Agoa. Agoa is, for those of you who don't know, it gives opportunity for more than 40 countries in the continent, most of them or all of them in the sub-Saharan Africa, having a free access to the United States trade, a free of tax access to the United States trade. So in this trade, more than 1,800 products are exported from Africa from various countries. Actually, yeah, it's more than 1,800 products. So it is from this, I mean, most of the countries have been beneficiary from this plan or from this opportunity, because not only they get a foreign exchange or a foreign currency in which now where the transaction is made, it's either in the US foreign currency or in the European Union, in the euro currency. But also, the opportunity to hire the employment opportunity in the countries, member states of this Agoa have really, really helped the economy of the country. So, I mean, some of them have a larger amount of export, some of them relatively a little. But what is interesting and what I want to bring you today is that the United States have been using this as a punishment, as to demonize countries whenever the countries are not in line with the United States, meaning if the country do not bow to what has been said from the White House, then the country is most likely one of the punishing method is evicting them from this Agoa. Now, let's look at really the real reason the United States says gross violation of human rights, but let's see what is the real reason. I mean, in terms of human rights, the West really cannot continue lecturing Africa of human rights violation or democracy or whatever. We need to be really, really against, discard this narrative and own our own narrative, because Africa has its own tradition of democracy, electing its king. When we were in kingdom and queendom, we have our own way of anointing and electing our own leaders. So we really don't need any democracy, imported democracy from the West. And also human rights, Africans are really also have their own tradition. What is human rights violation? Human rights violation has a different agenda for the West. So let me just share this article and try to go through it, some of the details. Now, President Biden said that, the Niger, if we look at country by country, Niger and Gabon, the real reason for evicting them is because of the revolutions they just have had in their country. I mean, Gabon, I doubt it. Gabon is something really still from the real, the bloodline is the same of this man who has been leading for more than 40 years. And then Niger is for the revolution, or as they call it, the mainstream media or the Western media calls it the coup d'etat. So for that reason, the US is. I mean, US is really confusing, sending different signals when it comes to Niger, because they have just said at the end of this month that they are going to recognize the military administration of Niger, because they have their own interests, they have their military there. Now they are saying, oh, you are evicted from Agoa. Why you are recognizing these military leaders, and then at the same time, do something else? I really do not understand this. The other two countries, the Central African Republic and Uganda. Central African Republic, compared to the rest of these three countries, it has less amount of export. But Uganda, we all know why they're planning to evict it, because of it's the anti-homosexuality bill that has been approved by the parliament, and also Uganda. Following this, Uganda, actually, President Museveni introduced that they will no more accept second-hand clothes to be imported to Uganda. And that was a huge blow. Look, US forces you and other Western country forces you to receive their second-hand clothes. What kind of thing? And if you don't do that, then you are going to be punished by this, which eventually will affect, millions, hundreds and millions of people in the country. Now, despite this is what the Biden administration says, despite intensive engagement between the United States and Central African Republic, Gabon, Niger, and Uganda, these countries have failed to address the United States concerns, meaning concerns about their non-compliance with the Agoa eligibility criteria. Now, what is the non-compliance with the Agoa, meaning you have to really approve you have to be pro homosexuality, or you have to be open to import second-hand clothes. Why dumping it in Africa? Why you don't dump it somewhere in Europe? Like, it's just so unfair for this to continue. There are still there are more heads of states who are still importing second-hand clothes to their country. And now, if we look at the Central African Republic, it's likely to be least implicated, as I said, by the expulsion, because it is so far the recorded amount it's not even in a million, 881,000 of US dollars. That is its export in 2022. Well, when we look at Uganda, it has exported 174 million US dollars in 2022. If Gabon, 220 million. I really wonder. I mean, I think importing the US is importing most of the natural resources, like perhaps timber. Otherwise, Gabon is really relatively, it's a 2 point something million population. I'm wondering what they're exporting. 73 million US dollars is exported by Niger. Now that is going to be banned as well. Now, this is what President Museveni said. The homosexuals in the US are interfering with our export of textiles. Some of the orders have been cancelled, because there's a lot of textile industries that are directly exporting to the US, and this is practiced by most of the Agoa member countries. Now, the threat to exclude Niger and Gabon from Agoa is, of course, the latest US government action against against the military administration. But again, the US has recognized the military administration. I don't know why again and again they're sending this confusing signal regarding Niger. If you recognize the military administration, then why now coming and saying, "Oh, we are going to expel you because of the coup d'etat"? You've just recognized it. It's really confusing. In any case, this is the plan of the United States. Using it again, Agoa, as to demonize and punish countries. This happened to Ethiopia. This happened also to Zimbabwe. There are countries. I mean, that's why the number does not stay the same every time. It differs because every time when the United States found a country that is not really in line with it, or who's not bowing to what it says, then the country is most likely to be expelled from Agoa. So it's like every time the number fluctuates. So now, what do you think of this U.S. Way of expelling the countries whenever it suits it, and talk about human right violation? You cannot talk about human right violation while you have our ancestors' body in a jar in museum in your country. I mean, it's just insane. That's to take from the word of Her Excellency Dr. Arikana once, where she said, when she explained, how the West has no right to talk about human right violation in Africa. So let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this move by the United States, and whether it's going to impact these countries? What are the options? And then we take it to a further discussion. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.